we are entering a spring-like pattern as we go into the middle of March, and that could mean springtime thunderstorms. So severe weather is on the table with flash flooding and even some winter lingering as well, with some heavy snow and a blizzard as well on the table. We're going to be walking you through the weather pattern as we know it over the next 1 to 2 weeks and give you what you can expect out your door here in this video. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow along with all my detailed, accurate, and reliable weather information here on YouTube by subscribing to the channel. Also like the video, give it a thumbs up, and especially if you do find it informative and detailed, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media, especially because severe weather season is ramping up and we want people to be informed about the severe weather threat moving here through March. So let's look here at our temperatures this Sunday afternoon, March 9th, and we are seeing some warmer air up here across the northern tier from the northern plains and Rockies over into the upper Midwest, and these areas are 30 degrees above the norm for what we typically would see for a March 9th, and a little bit cooler underneath from Texas eastward there towards South Carolina and Georgia, North Florida. That's because we have lingering cloud cover and a lot of precipitation down here, holding our temperatures a little bit below normal of what they should be for Sunday, March 9th. So let's look here at our record highs that we could see broken today. A couple areas, one up here into Montana where that's boxed out. Could get into the middle 60s at 66 this afternoon, and 69 up into northeastern South Dakota as well. So a couple records could be broken this afternoon, definitely possible. And looking here at the springtime thunderstorm threat for today, we do have a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk of severe weather. This covers southeastern Alabama, southern Georgia, and North Florida. So including the Big Bend of Florida there, we have Panama City, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Savannah, Georgia. Those areas are at risk for a couple of tornadoes, some 60-mile-per-hour winds, and quarter-size hail as we go through the day today. So let's zoom in and show you the timing of the showers and the thunderstorms. We do see that in scattered variety across the southeast as we go here to your midday Sunday. Heading into the afternoon, we're going to see those rumble across areas of Alabama, Georgia, and North Florida here with a lot of heavy rain as well. So we have to be continuing to watch that flash flooding threat as we go into your Sunday afternoon and evening here. And then overnight, we're just going to continue to see a conveyor belt of showers and thunderstorms moving across the southeast here, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. Going to be pretty wet as we go into your Monday morning, and then as we go through the day on Monday, it looks like it's more of an eastern Carolinas and Georgia type of thing as we go into the day on Monday. So how much rain are we talking about? Well, it's going to be pretty rainy over here the next 24 to 36 hours, and we could be seeing upwards to 4, maybe even 5 inches locally of rain there, especially on the Georgia-Florida state line, and then a couple inches of rain edging their way up there toward Charleston, South Carolina, and maybe even Myrtle Beach as well. The Wilmington area could still see an inch of rain there in North Carolina as well. So flash flooding will be a concern here. It's something to keep an eye on. Now, zooming it out for the entirety of the country in southern Canada, we're going to be seeing pretty quiet weather across the northern tier, and that's why we see more sunshine, record-breaking highs in a couple areas like Montana, South Dakota, because of that sunshine going to work here and warming up our dry ground over there. And we're just going to see a little bit of snowfall at times in the Pacific Northwest, a little bit of snow in interior New England. That could add up over time. Again, the heaviest rain will be down here into Georgia, Florida, and the eastern Carolinas. A little bit of rain up here in towards Seattle, but then looking at the snowfall here, maybe the Cascades in Washington state could see several inches of snow. Maybe a few inches in northern Idaho, western Montana there, up toward Lake Superior, and then interior parts of the Northeast, Maine, northern New Hampshire, northern Vermont, and upstate New York, maybe seeing an average of 1 to 3 inches as we go through that Tuesday, March 11th timeframe. Now, heading into the new work week, Monday, March 10th through Friday, March 14th, we're going to be warming up the mercury here east of the Rockies, and the spring-like warmth will really be getting into high gear across especially the upper Midwest, an area that has been pretty cool so far this early spring season. And you can see record highs could be plentiful across the board here, across the upper Midwest, into the Great Lakes, and even parts of the Central Plains as we go into Monday, March 10th. We see a little bit of a cold front bringing some cooler air down across the upper Midwest as we go into Tuesday, suppressing the warmer air further south. That'll continue on Wednesday as we rebound some temperatures there across the plains. And then Thursday, Friday here, a big warm sector is ahead of our next significant storm system could be bringing us some more spring-like warmth widespread all the way up to the U.S.-Canadian border. So let's look here at our two systems we're watching heading into the new work week. The first system going to be pretty weak here, moving into California and then down toward Arizona, and it's kind of like a kicker system. It's really been weakening on the models over the past few days, and looking at a big trough coming into the West Coast as we go into Wednesday evening or Thursday morning. That could bring us some big-time snows for the Sierras and some big-time rain for California here, some well-needed moisture. And then this is going to kick out across the plains, and how it ejects from the plains toward the upper Midwest will be key. If it's a negatively tilted trough here, this could mean some big problems in the form of a severe weather outbreak, and it could be quite significant here as we go into the end of the next work week, Friday, March 14th into Saturday, March 15th, there into the middle of the country, really kind of centered on the Mississippi River Valley. So let's look at the west first. That's where the energy is going to be coming from, is out west. And you can see on Monday, March 10th, got a little bit of snow up here in the Pacific Northwest, pretty dry in California. Here comes that weak system, maybe giving us a little bit of rain for areas like Los Angeles, San Diego, down there toward Phoenix, and then that'll push east, maybe a little bit of mountain snow for Arizona and New Mexico. Then our big trough comes in Wednesday evening into Thursday. That could bring us some very heavy snows for the Sierras here, very heavy rain for the foothills of California. And you can see a lot of snow moving into the Intermountain West here, not only just for the Sierras, but the Cascades, a lot of the Rockies, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Arizona there. A Flagstaff region could be seeing some very heavy snows, and then that continues to move east. Areas outside Denver could get some heavy snows. Areas outside Albuquerque and New Mexico could get some heavy snows, as well as Montana. So a lot of areas out west here through the next work week getting some pretty heavy precipitation. So looking at the rainfall, we're going to see that really start to build across coastal California in the foothill region, getting a couple inches of rain. Watching out for mudslides here in some of these areas, something to keep an eye on. And then the very heavy snow. The Sierras will be the big winners here, with over 4 feet of snow possible here later on in the week as that main trough comes in across the west coast. Also seeing a foot or two of snow for the Cascades, and a lot of areas here in the Rockies getting in the higher elevations. You know, we're seeing around a foot or so of snow there as well. And as we go into the middle to end of next work week, this is Thursday, March 13th, we're going to see that big trough coming in across the Intermountain West, and that in response will give us a strong low pressure cyclone into eastern Colorado, right on the lee side of the Rockies. And notice how it just sits there and deepens as we go into Thursday night, and then it's going to eject up there toward the upper Midwest, potentially as a sub 980 millibar low. And when I mean sub 980, that's under 980 millibars, and that is a pretty powerful low pressure system. And a powerful low pressure system in March could spell out some trouble for a couple of things. We have some colder air around that could give us some heavy snow, maybe a blizzard with the tight isobars on the backside, especially considering how strong this is. Some strong winds are going to be a component here, not only on the cold side, but for wildfires potentially with the strong winds. And then on the warm side, we have to watch out for flash flooding and significant severe weather with the strengthening March cyclone. So let's look here. Thursday, March 13th, there's all the snow out west we were talking about. And then as we go into Friday, notice that cyclone really gets going. We got the heavy snow blizzard conditions already starting there in Friday afternoon. Western Dakotas down into the panhandle of Nebraska, Colorado, Montana, Wyoming. Got to be watching out for that. And then as we go into Friday afternoon, we have a warm front starting to lift up into the Midwest, cold front, very strong dry line as well, moving into the Mississippi River Valley, and this could spell out the potential of significant severe weather, with the potential even for strong tornadoes in this synoptic setup there as far north as Wisconsin or as far south as the Gulf Coast. So something to keep an eye on there for Friday evening. And then we're going to see just a heavy rain setup after that. So let's kind of go piece by piece here. The Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma has already gone ahead 6 days ahead of time and has produced a large 15% equivalent or a level 2 slight risk of severe weather. It's a level 2 out of 5, stretching all the way up into eastern Iowa, northern Illinois, all the way back down here as far south as Houston and Lake Charles there. So a very large area, and I expect this to expand in coverage and also start to increase in intensity, maybe into a 30% or an enhanced risk, which would be a 3 out of 5 in future updates. And then we have a day 7 actually down here into parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, western Georgia, and moving up into middle and eastern Tennessee, including the Cumberland Plateau there. Keeping an eye on that. That's 7 days out. This could also expand and get intensified. So let's look at a couple model camps. We're going to look first at the American GFS, and then we're going to look here at the European model. So here's the American GFS, a large reservoir of instability, and look how it goes all the way up to the Twin Cities there, and you can see these greens and yellows in between. That's 1,000 to perhaps 2,000 joules per kilogram of instability, so a weak to moderate instability. That's the storm energy that we need. And look at the GFS, powerful jet streak across portions of Oklahoma up there toward Missouri, Iowa, and western Illinois. That will help to support thunderstorm organization and sustainment as we go through Friday, and also looking at a pretty strong low-level jet that will only increase after dark Friday and getting into the Chicagoland. So something to keep an eye on there on the GFS model. And what this starts to print out here is an arcing band of supercells initiating roughly around Omaha, Kansas City, down there toward portions of Springfield, Missouri. Couple supercells maybe down here toward Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. And then notice how it just grows in intensity as that trough really ejects into the middle of the country with some hefty thunderstorms from Wisconsin all the way down to the Gulf Coast there Friday evening and into Friday night. Now looking here at the European model, actually pretty similar to the GFS with the reservoir of instability and storm energy going all the way up to the Twin Cities there. Maybe not as much as further north, a lot more further south than the Euro, but you can see a little bit further south of a trough ejection on the Euro, which is a little bit of a difference from the GFS, but still a powerful mid-level 500 millibar jet streak here rounding the base of that trough. We also have a pretty strong low-level jet as well, maybe not as strong as the GFS model, but strong nonetheless, and that will still promote some severe weather in a widespread zone across the Mississippi River Valley from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Illinois, all the way south here to Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So a large scope of real estate potentially in the path of some severe weather. Now let's talk about the cold side. We have the potential for a blizzard and several inches of snow across the Dakotas, western Minnesota, western and northern Nebraska, back into Colorado there, Wyoming, Montana, and let's also talk about our friends to the north, Manitoba, Ontario, and up toward Hudson Bay could be seeing some very heavy snow from this, and blizzard conditions. Notice the winds rounding this low pressure system, and it's counterclockwise, right? The winds are stirring counterclockwise around that low pressure system. You got the gradient winds out here in the Midwest, so by the way, non-thunderstorm winds could be over 50 miles an hour with gusts, and then a big wildfire concern there for New Mexico, West Texas, with strong winds sustained between 30 and 40 miles per hour, gusts much higher than that, maybe 60 plus. That could really get the fire risk going, and then a blizzard on the northwest side as those northwesterly winds screaming down the plains. Could be seeing those gusts over 40 miles an hour and whiteout conditions. Now as we go into Saturday, March 15th, by this point the low has made it all the way up there toward Lake Superior, and then it's going to continue to march northeast there towards southern Hudson Bay in Canada, and it's going to have a big pole of moisture up from the Ohio Valley down toward the deep south, and that'll continue really all the way through the weekend before it clears that moisture off the East Coast by the following week on Monday, March 17th. This is going to promise some pretty heavy rain from around Kentucky into Tennessee and much of the deep south as we go through Saturday night, and into Sunday. Notice at first it doesn't move very quickly. It's kind of more southwest to northeast, and then finally shifts out across the northeast and mid-Atlantic, southeastern areas on Sunday before shifting all the way off North America as we go into Monday, March 17th. This could promise a pretty heavy rain and a significant flash flooding threat. We've had a lot of rainfall here in this late winter, early spring season across Kentucky and Tennessee, and giving us at least, this is an average, right? This could be higher, this could be lower, showing around 2 to 4 inches worth of snow or worth of rain across portions there of Kentucky, Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and Alabama. And then say no more. We got snow here on the northern side, could be over a foot there as that system matures and occludes there into Ontario and Quebec. So looking here as we go into the following work week, the third week of March, Monday, March 17th through Friday, March 21st, We're going to get some colder air to spill in across the west, so a consistent troughiness across the west, consistent ridging across the east could promise us more severe weather in parts of the Mississippi Valley into the Ohio Valley and deep south. So something to keep an eye on there into the third week of March between the 17th and the 21st. Also some more heavy rain as dark green just continues to paint Kentucky and Tennessee as we go into that time frame. And then the snow. Again, we have enough cold air to tap into. Could still have some snowstorms even into the third week of March. A little bit further south this time too, perhaps into the Midwest, Central Plains, and into the interior sections of the Northeast, Northwest of the I-95 corridor. Well, if you enjoyed my weather forecasts and you enjoy being informed about the weather, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, give it a thumbs up, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. If you want to leave any comments, questions, and concerns down below, jot them down in the comment section down below the video. I will get to work on answering all your questions here after the video. Thank you all for watching and have a safe rest of your Sunday out there.